What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you on Rivian. I want to go over the current data points, what they're saying, where things might be going from here based on those data points. But more specifically, I want to mention the numbers that just came out from Rivian itself. Before I get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So Rivian did go down 2.55%, but the broader sector, EV sector, was red with exception of Tesla, even though they did unveil their Q3 production and delivery numbers, as did Rivian, as you can kind of see here. So Rivian releases Q3 production figures and sets date for third quarter 2023 results. So mark your calendars for November the 7th. That is when their earnings are going to be unveiled. It is going to be held at 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be live streaming that, so make sure you guys ensure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe. But ultimately, around 16,304 vehicles were produced in Q3, 15,564 vehicles were delivered. And this kind of projects and kind of lays it out very easily as far as their total 2023, because they did reiterate their 52,000 delivered as a year-end target. And so in reality, I think it is very achievable in my opinion, but I think the broader market is seeing these numbers, the Q3 numbers, as kind of lackluster, even though it was a pretty good increase from Q2. And definitely, I think based on the Q1 to Q3, it's showing a huge amount of growth. But generally, I think it's still not to the market's expectations, which is kind of unfortunate. But despite that though, there was a lot of eyes on Rivian today, because 49.42 million shares being traded, 29.45 million shares is the average. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market. Near the beginning part of the day, there was majority sales coming from institutions, probably as the numbers did come out, but near the tail end of the day, it soon turned to buying. So there was a lot of good transactions, so 1.51 million, 1.18, even near so the tail end, $22.7 million just based on one transaction. So a lot of big money was getting into Rivian. And based on this as well, dark pool was on fire, so a massive amount. So just this page alone is 250 transactions. Even moving to the second page right here, there was even just so much. But when it comes down to the dark pool, as I've said in the past, it is very much linked to shorting. So I'll give you an overview of that. And as I've said in the past, I'm not here to say Rivian is going to be a squeeze play by any means. I'm just bringing this up more so as a benchmark. So kind of just be aware that short score is currently 59.81. Utilization is 29.16. Looking as far as what happened today, doesn't show any change. So that's kind of odd. Based on that, but still 13.82% of the free float is being shorted. 91.39 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is complete penny, so it is at 0.6%, and the minimum being 0.35 and the max being 1.9. So again, definitely not here to say this is going to be a squeeze, because it is not. And if shorts did really want to double down on Rivian, they could, because based on the interactive broker short availability, there is more than 10 million shares available to be shorted. So once again, I do feel the fact that shorts not really doing anything on a very fearful day, especially the whole EV sector getting completely slammed, I feel like that is kind of optimistic. But starting off with some options activity, $23 million in calls being purchased versus 6.37 million in puts. So based on this information, people are very much anticipating Rivian to go up. So I will talk on the technicals and many other things afterwards. But as far as looking at the open interest for calls, so if you're optimistic, this shows all the strike prices, expiry dates. Based on this information, it is anticipated to be between around the $23 to $24 mark. So kind of in line with where it is as of right now. If you are bearish though, it is anticipated to be roughly around sub 21, and that is a very key pivot point for the technicals. So once again, let me know your thoughts on that. As of today, there was 2 new analyst ratings. One came in from Canaccord from George, who only does have a 33% success rating, and they did give a $44 buy, so that's a fairly good thing. And Chris McNally, who does have a 41% success rating from Evercore, gave a $35 price target. So once again, I do feel that the numbers are fairly good from, I guess, a quarter by quarter viewpoint, but just the broader market maybe might not see it as that good. I'm not really sure. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But moving on from here, let's talk on some technicals. So if we kind of zoom out a little bit, it did bounce from the outside percentile of the Bollinger Band right here, kind of consolidated, but still generally speaking, it is still higher percentile of the Bollinger Band. So that is fairly good as of right now. And based on looking at these points, with it currently at $23.66, it is between this pivot and this R1. So 24.73 is a very strong resistance, and it kind of did temporarily break past that today. So it does have a lot of good momentum to kind of stay up there. It's definitely showed that today. And then $22.98 is that next strong support. So I do feel that the technicals are ready to break out. Options activity is also pointing that as well, and obviously with shorts doing absolutely nothing, it doesn't really say too much. So I do feel that based on the numbers that did come out, it wasn't that bad, especially still with them actually being able to reiterate and hit their 2023 targets of 52,000. I think that is fairly good, and you never know. I do feel realistically it could probably get to around the 54 to 55. That might be a little bit more ambitious, but I do feel that it can be done. Just my own opinion, not financial advisor, of course. So based on the data points, it is still very much bullish, even though the broader market was very fearful today. The EV sector was pulling back largely. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on all that in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Give yourself a shout out in the comments below if you did buy today, if you sold, what did you do with Rivian? Or are you just waiting for decades from now or many years from now when this is back in the triple digits? What's your kind of viewpoint? On a side note, if you are looking for a lot of good compiled information such as analyst ratings, analyst forecasts for upcoming earnings, which I am going to be also continuing to monitor this until I guess November the 7th when their earnings is going to be. So if you are looking for a lot of good compiled information such as this, take a look at Interactive Brokers. It is completely free to have all of this. Click on the link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, I appreciate all of you watching, and let's eventually make a ton of money on Rivian.